to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 7, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Oh man, it's on display in the last 2 weeks for sure. We'll get into that in a moment. I am your host, Keith Rao. Remember, you can catch the Trumped Up Podcast across all major podcasting platforms. I'd like to thank all the new listeners who have been listening over the last few weeks. We've had some record-breaking growth, and I thank you all for your support. I'd also like to thank those of you who went out and bought the Democratic Asylum, a political manifesto by Keith Rao. I thank you for purchase, and it helps support this podcast as well as supporting our cause. So we got a special advertiser this week. The Hadley, Massachusetts hot tub sale at the Hampshire Mall presented by 21st Century Pools and Spas is going on this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The hot tubs are priced to sell. It's easy to get to from anywhere in southeastern New Hampshire, southern Vermont, western and central Massachusetts, and central northern Connecticut. It's right on Route 9 in Hadley, Massachusetts at the Hampshire Mall. I mean, these hot tubs are priced to sell for fall, and it's the perfect time to buy. And you'll be helping out a great business out there in America, which is always the greatest thing to do. The Hampshire Mall is only mere minutes from UMass Amherst in Massachusetts, and it's easy to get to by getting off of Interstate 91 and following Route 9 east to the Hampshire Mall in Hadley, Massachusetts. Check out the Hadley, Massachusetts hot tub sale at the Hampshire Mall presented by 21st Century Pools and Spas. All right, let's get back into Season 3, Episode 7, Trump Derangement Syndrome, which has been on massive display for the last 2 weeks, ever since the first presidential debate happened. Right after the debate, the searches for move to Canada spiked, and it was the number one search on Google, which we all know in 2016 the same thing happened, but leave it up to liberals. Yeah, sure, it's easy to search something on Google, but to actually get off your ass and do it's another story. And none of them are going through the effort of immigrating anywhere. Or they talk about how great Mexico is, but I don't see any of them talking about immigrating there anytime soon. But yeah, then after the presidential debate, the president actually tested positive for coronavirus, as we all know by now. He's doing well, and he's improving, and he got some of the best medical care in the world. But after this happened, oh my God, if you read some of the disgusting and vile comments across the internet, especially in the twatter sphere, we'll just call it that. I got my own problems with those I'll get into about banning conservatives and the stupidity of Twitter and Facebook. But yeah, they made all nasty comments and vile, disgusting things and death wishes after the president tested positive for COVID. They put their Trump derangement syndrome on full display for the whole world to see. But personally, if Joe Biden came down with the coronavirus, I would wish the man well and hope the best for him and hope he recovered to lose the election regardless. Fair and squarely. Not because of some other crazy circumstances, but this is 2020, and you never know what's going to happen, and the man is 78, which is one damn good reason why I wouldn't vote for him, because that's starting at 78 after 47 years, and he don't seem all there anymore. No, I'm not going with that guy. Not at all. So the media and the far left are now also demanding to know when the president's last negative COVID test. Like he purposely hid the fact that he tested positive before the frickin' debate or something, and he went there and purposely infected all these people and all the people at the Supreme Court nomination ceremony at the White House. But that's just how sick and demented these people are, and I don't even know how they come up with half this, back in the 80s and 90s, and they talk about conspiracy theories of thinking that like terrorist sleeper cells don't exist, and we all know they exist quite drastically in all corners of the world, and they're out there just like all kinds of other terrorists and drug cartels and other major crime syndicates. So it's now not a conspiracy theory for sleeper cells, because we all know that's true, especially after 9/11, which if you're too young to understand with that, which one of our lowest viewer percentages in the younger range, I couldn't imagine why. Maybe because they listen to Bernie Sanders and the crazy left, but maybe if they listen to this show for a couple times, they might actually be enlightened and actually get the truth that they're not going to get from the left-wing disgusting media that they are. But yeah, I don't know if that's what they're thinking in their head, or they just had nothing that day and they just demanded to know when the president's last negative COVID virus test was, which is protected by HIPAA law, and he doesn't have to tell anybody any of his health information because, hey, they created that law themselves, not the president. If you want to know people's personal health information, well, change the law. But I don't think that's ever going to fly because it's just not cool. So sorry about the little pause there, but which takes me to the next conspiracy theory of these damn Democrats. We have record speed going on, warp speed here with developing vaccines. Several companies are developing vaccines, and they're far into their trials, and they'll be approved more quickly than most vaccines are, which some could take as a safety concern, and you should always be concerned. You should wait till some data comes out, but somebody has to be the guinea pig. I'm sorry. That's why there's human trials, and people are doing it now, and they volunteer for this. But if they didn't do this, then nothing would ever be cured, and we'd all die at a young age, and that wouldn't be cool. Because we have the best medical treatments and system in the world, no matter what the Democrats say every 2 and 4 years about healthcare. Which isn't healthcare, it's insurance reform. Let's remind you, it's not healthcare, it's insurance reform. You get healthcare at a hospital, not from the government, period, unless you're in the VA. But it's still a hospital run by the government. Either way. But yeah, Biden and Harris seem to be so against these freaking vaccines, man. And there's already enough anti-vax hoax and crazy stuff on the internet that we don't need Joe Biden, Kamala Harris putting doubt into people's minds about vaccines. I mean, I have a doctor's appointment in 2 weeks for my checkup, yearly checkup, and a flu shot because 3 years ago I was really sick, and I don't want to be really sick because it's not fun. And with what's going on in this year between the freaking coronavirus and the flu, I don't want to be the guy that gets both, and no, I'm all set with that. I don't want to get either. I don't want any of that. I want to be a healthy person, so I do things get healthier, like drink things like pineapple and orange juice, and get some exercise and try to be healthy. But yeah, Harris even came out and said if Donald Trump said to get the vaccine, she wouldn't do it. But if a doctor told her to get the vaccine, she'd go out and do it. Which leaves a little confusion in my mind that if Donald Trump and the doctors and health experts say to get the vaccine, what you going to do? Because they both said it then. And she didn't clarify what she would do if they both said to get the vaccine. But her and Biden don't answer questions anyway, like the packing of the Supreme Court question where, hey, I'll tell you after the election. I'm not going to raise your taxes. I'll tell you after the election. Really? This is the first time in history of politics somebody said that. And why would you vote for somebody who's going to tell you what they're going to do after you vote them in? That's just, go play with fire because it's the same thing, really. But yeah, scaring people about getting a COVID vaccine when it becomes available is totally unacceptable, totally unnecessary, and shouldn't be acceptable in this day and age. And I wouldn't doubt if the two of these clowns actually thought vaccines cause autism, which has been highly disproven besides some conspiracy theories by anti-vaxxers on the internet. Trust me. There's many people who have never had a vaccine and have autism. There's people that had vaccines and they have autism. They had the autism before they got the vaccine and la la la. So let's not go into that debate because you won't like what I have to say to you, most likely. But yes, vaccines do not cause autism. Period. Fact. Not. I'm entitled to my own facts. No, facts are facts. You don't get your own. They're facts. Okay, yeah, so And we're going to take a quick break here and let me gather my thoughts and a message from our normal sponsor, and we'll be right back. Hey, you too can join the podcasting world and be one of the greatest podcasters out there. Build an audience, get sponsorships, earn money, and do many, many interesting things. You can also get listener support to help sponsor your show, all by using Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to become a podcaster. Anyone can do it. If you got something to say, or someone thinks you got something to say, or you just want to say something, come and join Anchor and join the podcasting revolution. Hello and welcome back to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 7. I am your host, Keith Rao. This is Trump Derangement Syndrome, and it's been on full display for at least 2 weeks, but we all know it's been more like 4.5 years since that day Donald Trump came down the escalator, and the nonstop attacks that he's gone through, all the crazy stuff by the media, and all the outrageous claims, and the nonstop craziness and bombshells, and every day it's a new adventure with the media. I don't know. Yes, truth is stranger than fiction, and I don't think you could have made any of this year up or the last 4 years up, but we're living in the times we're living in, and we have to accept the way the world is. But we can do our part to change the world. Remember that. We're not helpless. There's always something you can do. Because take action. Remember, protest are words. Actions take effort and physically doing something. Or putting up your money where your mouth is instead of just blabbing on Twitter or the vile crap that comes out of Hollywood. But let's get into how turns out Mike Pence won the vice presidential debate by a long shot. Yes, 100%. 91% of Trumped Up podcast listeners said he won the debate, and I agree he smoked Harris. You know, Mike Pence even remained calm, cool, and collected. Even with a fly on his head for 3 minutes straight, he didn't miss his point. He kept on going, and eventually the fly left town. And the left can say whatever about the fly and their stupid memes and the crap, but both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton both had flies on their head in debates. So it's just a random thing. It's not because of whatever crazy things people want to think about it, especially because they probably think, oh, flies land on shit. Yeah, I can imagine. That's the left's opinion, because that was the right's opinion in 2016 and whenever the hell it happened to Barack Obama. But you know what? No. Flies just do what flies do, and these things just happen. But the fact that the vice president was that calm, I'd rather, if President Trump, God forbid, couldn't serve at some point, that Mike Pence would have to take over. I'd much rather that with as calm as he acted, because if he's that calm, imagine him dealing with world leaders. He's going to be calm, cool, and collected, as opposed to Joe Biden, who at every damn rally and interview tends to start yelling out of nowhere. I don't know if he thinks yelling means people can hear him better, because even without the mask, he would do this yelling thing. So it now appears that the second presidential debate won't happen after all, because after Mike Pence actually won the VP debate against Kamala Harris, the next morning, the debate commission, out of nowhere, bright and early in the morning, dropped the news on Twitter that the debate was going to go to all virtual, and they didn't freaking consult with either campaign on this, which is ridiculous that you just change the rules in the middle of the game. And the president said he's not doing it, and I don't blame him, and he's going to do a rally or something else. And Joe Biden says he's going to do a town hall. But hey, if Joe Biden is going to do a town hall with people on ABC or whatever network, crappy network it was, that it's supposed to happen on, why the hell can't he do the debate in person? But supposedly staff like cameramen and assistants and people like this, and nobody wanted to do it in person because the president could possibly still be shedding virus, although his doctors, world-class Walter Reed Medical Center doctors, said the president's A-okay to go back out in the world and get back on the trail. But nope. So the moderator, a former Biden intern for one of his former failed presidential campaigns. Remember, Biden's not the new guy. He's been around 47 years and he's tried this several times before to fail epically over and over again. Once a loser, twice a loser, 3 times a loser. I don't know, I'm just being funny, don't mind me. It just happens sometimes. Comes out of nowhere. But yeah, this guy's a Biden intern. Then he tweets out something to Anthony Scaramucci, who worked for Fox Business, and then the president hired him, and then he got fired for whatever stupid thing he did. I don't even remember now. So many things have happened since then, and it's irrelevant. But he's now a anti-Trump Republican, which means he never was, and he was just trying to get high and mighty off the fame of Donald Trump. And so the guy tweets the Scaramucci, this Scully guy, I think Scully, like Scully and Mulder on the X-Files there. Well, no, yeah, this guy Scully, a former Biden intern, tweets out something, how should he respond to Trump? And he claims he was hacked. He's claimed he's been hacked before for saying stupid things. You know, once, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but when there's a pattern going on, no. It's intentional. And if you're so hacked, hey, why don't you let us have the invest, and it's a pattern, maybe we should have the FBI investigate this to see what's really going on and who's really hacking you, unlike the DNC would allow them to do in the 2016 election when they claimed they were allegedly hacked. Yeah, by their own people is my guess, and that's why they don't want the FBI investigating, which is probably the same thing this clown would say. So, you know, this late in the damn game, who the hell hasn't made up their mind yet? Really, if it's October 9th, man, we're 20-something days away from an election. How have you not made up your mind after 2 years of the last 2 years of the campaign of Donald Trump, or Biden for the last 6 months, or the last 47 years? I mean, after 47 years, you should know who Joe Biden is, although he's not that guy so much anymore. But at least you know who he was before, and you know who Donald Trump is because he's on TV every day, and you can make up your own mind. Don't take the media's word for it. Don't take my word for it. I really don't care. You make up your own mind because this is America, and you have that choice. And we can all think for ourselves, and we all think differently, which is where the Democrats always, in their identity politics, they clump all black people and all Spanish people and all women into the same damn category. And guess what? They don't all think the same damn way. Wake up. It's 2020. We should all know it's 2020 because it's the craziest year I've lived through. But yeah, so that happened. So last week I was actually on my way to the store or an appointment or something. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh on the radio, and he actually invited President Trump to come on and do a town hall on the radio with him. And the president actually today joined Rush Limbaugh. Sorry, I pronounce his name wrong all the time. It's just me. I don't think he'd come and slap me for it. It is what it is. He just correct me because it is what it is. But yeah, and Trump goes on with him today and he did an interview. Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch it, but we'll have some time in the next week. I probably can find some time to catch up on it, but I'll get a lot of the highlights. But I was also watching the 5 earlier this week while I was eating my dinner because it's on at dinner time, and this is what I put on for while I'm eating dinner, because if I watch the local news, it's like watching CNN. So I watch the local news, get the weather, and change back to some other station, because if I want to watch biased people, I'll watch people that are biased to my point of view, at least. Although there's not as many of them because of corporate changes at companies like Fox being bought out, news being bought out by Disney corporations not that long ago. And if you wonder why they've changed, that's why, let me tell you. So yeah, that was just. But yeah, on the 5, Greg Gutfeld put up the offer that Donald Trump should come do a 1-hour town hall with the 5, which I think would be awesome because you got 5 moderators really, and they all have their various points of views, even Wacko Juan that never agrees with the president, and probably get nicknamed something like Wacko Juan, like I just called him, because no matter what the president does or says, Juan's just going to go with the opposite opinion. Same thing with Republicans, because Juan has to be the non-objective guy on the other side who's been proven wrong by Jesse and Greg like a whole crap load of times on that show, but is what it is. But yeah, I think he should do that too, and it would probably be really high rated, and it'd be all good. So, for some more Trump derangement syndrome news, the FBI, in conjunction with the Michigan State Police, arrested 6 men in an attempted plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. I don't know why the hell anybody in existence would want to kidnap any Democrat, period. It's wrong, regardless of the crime, and I'm making a joke about it. I'm glad she didn't get kidnapped, don't take me wrong, but seriously, why would anybody want to kidnap a Democrat? It's just a hypothetical thing to think about. Take it any way you want, except in the most negative ways that somebody in the liberal land would twist it to be, because this is cancel culture. But instead of thanking President Trump and the Department of Justice for coming to her aid and preventing her from being kidnapped, and the same group also made threats to kill police officers, so the fact that they're taken off the street by the FBI, who between that and all the human trafficking arrests they've made recently, and returning children to their families, and helping rebuild that FBI reputation that was so destroyed in the last administration, and with that whole Russia witch hunt hoax, that's much more to come. Don't worry. That'll be in a future episode when we get more info. That recently declassified info that came out, and more is dropping every day or every couple days, and it was all a big cover-up, just like everybody said. I don't know how many crimes are there, but it's definitely election fraud and conspiracy to cover it up and all kinds of crazy stuff. A whole bunch of people should be in prison, but only one guy got indicted so far in this whole damn joke of a hoax. But yep, at least the FBI, that's the good work that they normally do and the things that they should be focused on. But under the last administration, James Comey and his cronies at the FBI and Justice and Barack and Biden and all them people, along with the Hillary campaign and the DNC, man, if that wasn't an attempted coup, I don't know what is. But I know 100% it was treason. And they used to hang you for that. So they should consider themselves lucky. And no wonder why they don't want the death penalty to exist anymore, because it might be used on a whole bunch of themselves if they get busted in the crazy corrupt shit they do. So to finalize the show this week, Speaker Pelosi and her Trump derangement syndrome, or so I thought at first, one day comes out at a press conference and she's all shaken and she almost drank water and didn't drink water, and her mask was flowery, like, I don't know if she made it herself or some fan of hers made it. They crocheted this for her, or she just ripped it off her couch like somebody else in the media had mentioned. But yeah, she says 25th Amendment, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Then everybody figured out between her and some other congressmen that they want to create some commission to investigate and remove a president with the 25th Amendment. First, I thought she totally had lost her mind. Not that I don't think she's lost her mind already, and maybe she's got a wet brain or something, but she's definitely not the level of politician or all there like she was, even during when she told us that crazy shit of you got to vote for it to find out what's in it with the Obamacare crap, which was crazy in itself. But she still seemed like she was there then. But she seems like, just like Joe Biden, something's not right. I'm not a doctor, and even if I was like a psychiatrist, I wouldn't diagnose people from far away. I'm just making an observation. It's just my opinion. So take it as that. It's an opinion. This is an opinion. Yeah, I gave you some facts, but I gave you mostly my damn opinion. And if you don't like it, tune in next week because there'll be even more you won't like. And if you do like it, tune in next week because there'll be more you do like. And if you're on both sides of the aisle, so be it. It's all good. And if you hate my guts and you hate this show and it is what it is, it is what it is. Because you know what? You could hate me, but I still won't hate you because you're just people. And as crazy as the left is and all that crazy stuff out there, I'm still not going to say the vile crap that these people say. I'll just wish you well or hit you with a whole crap load of facts. And every time I do, they come back with the insults. And it is what it is. But yeah, at first I thought she had totally lost her mind, to get back to my point. But then she left a hint. She said, not for now, we're going to use it in the future because, yeah, to do what she's talking about would take longer than till the election. So it could possibly be to use it against Donald Trump in a second administration in a desperate attempt to get rid of him if they, unfortunately, get the pleasure of winning both the House and the Senate and Trump wins re-election, which will just cause massive gridlock in the government. Enjoy the next 4 years of nothing but executive orders and failed bills. And it'll just be a waste. And we'll get a couple little things over the 4 years, maybe some trade deals and things like that, and the wall will get finished, and the military and the VA and things like this. Maybe someday we'll get a long-term government funding bill because every time I turn around, I hear about another government shutdown, and now it's just freaking background noise because the government never shuts down, even when it shuts down. But yeah, I thought she was crazy for sure. And then it was this later thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I came to the conclusion she doesn't want to use that against Donald Trump, maybe, but I think it's more the fact that the Democrats, if Joe Biden gets elected, are going to use the 25th Amendment in this commission they want to create to remove Joe Biden from office so Kamala Harris can be the first, not only the first woman president, the first black woman president. But if that happens, there will permanently be an asterisk next to her name that she was the villain. And, when this happens in a state where somebody, the governor is, convicted of a crime, like happened to Connecticut a few years ago, or somebody dies in office or whatever, they have a special election and fill the seat. I think federally we should probably be able to do that too, but as you see, elections take a year and a half in this country, technically. And 6 months after this presidential election, we're going to go right into talking about the midterm elections in 2022 and governor's races and that, because politics just never stop. But yep, that's their whole plan. You can believe me or not, but I've seen quite the consensus that it's actually to remove Joe Biden, and they'll probably use the dementia call, despite him probably already having it now, or he's developing it, or it's just age-related issues that may not be dementia. Again, I said I'm not a doctor, it's just my opinion. I'm just making observations based on what I see. Well, this has been the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 7, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Remember, you can catch the Trumped Up Podcast on all major podcasting platforms. You can now check us out on Rumble. We're on YouTube. You can check out our Facebook page. You can join the Trumped Up Podcast Facebook group. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, or whatever, Parler. Speaking of all, I got to get into that right before we leave. One Twitter banned me for some comment I made. The person was making a comment about the vile crap to the death of the president, and Twitter limited my features because of this. So I had to remove this tweet because I said, you're a sick biatch, No wonder why you're on Twitter, and I guess they didn't like this. So once I removed the tweet, they gave me my freedom back. But then Facebook and their independent fact checkers that are their people claim that the Trumped Up podcast posted things that were deemed false by them, not me or really independent people or real fact checkers. Nope, people that run their company said you can't advertise on Facebook. One, I'm never going to give them a freaking dollar to advertise. I have a great marketing system that I do 100% free, and it works, and it's great. And it's gotten me quite a few listeners and likes and a lot of attention. So the fact that Facebook telling me because I posted several things that are false or partially false that I'm not allowed to advertise. Well, guess what, Facebook? You punished me by not punishing me because I wasn't going to spend my money with you anyway. If I got $1, I'm not giving it to you. I'll go buy a lottery ticket because it's not worth the money. All right, remember, Trumped Up Podcast, available across all major podcasting platforms. I am Keith Rao, and I am out.